Okay, guys, so today I'm going to be sharing with you how to do UML documents, and they are so fun. So this is, what's funny? The use case document is actually probably the hardest. It's hard for me to just know what Brother Barney wants right here. So I copied exactly what I had on my old one, and it seems like it's what the user is. I don't remember this line that much.
Well, I think it's just like
the user interacts
It-
with the main line.
Yeah. See, whatever I thought it was, Brother Barney always thinks it's something different. So I was going to talk to him about this. But ignoring that line, the use case document is just showing the different uses that your app will have and how they're all connected. So here I have my view list. And on my view list, I can add an item, or I have another use case that the person could remove an item. And I'm doing a grocery shopping list, and so I'll be changing these to products. But pretty much these are the things that you want, just the different uses that your user will be doing.
Okay. Well, he always says too, like all the different things, because he always makes you start on startup and work your way that way. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, well, see, there was one time when he made me do it that way, and then this time, this is what I used to pass off last time, and this is what I had. So
I don't know. He's always made me do startup, and then you do this, and then
usually he's better on. He's gonna be watching this video. Hopefully, he doesn't watch it too long.
well, you can show him what you want. That's what I do. Well, that looks good.
He's pretty good on staying the same on state and sequence, but this one I've seen him tell everybody something so different. But I know that these are connected, and that's good. And by the way, use Visual Paradigm, that Draw.io that they're using. It's way harder.
I
just do this.
I tried it. There's a lot, but like Lucid Charts is way better than Draw.io.
Oh, I haven't tried Lucid Charts.
Let's just stick with Visual Paradigm. There's something about Lucid Charts that drive me nuts too. It's like, but it's nice because it just saves it to your drive. So you can just share it. But it's very collaborative. But
so you use Lucid Charts and you're using Visual Paradigm.
I'm just going to use
something.io.
Yeah, I'm just going to use Visual Paradigm though. So
if you use Visual Paradigm, Brother Barney will be okay with that.
My comment on other ones, he doesn't.
This is what Brother Barney uses, so that's why I decided to use it. And you can download the community edition, and then you get it for free.
And like sequence diagrams is really cool. They have a tool where you can just move everything over at once.
Yeah,
that's nice.
You're like, oh, I want to push this all over right here, and so I can add something there. So it's really nice.
Yeah, it works.
Definitely give that a try then.
Works really easy. And so this is something I didn't do before, but in Visual Paradigm, this is like a project I have. So this is my use case diagram. And then actually first I guess we should go and we should look at my do I still have it? Add item use case. And
what is that called again? Use case document?
This is a use case document. So in the use case document, I'm pretty sure this is the same for like his Java class. Robbie was doing way too much work. He was doing a use case document for all of his use cases. Whether Barney,
he makes you do it for all. He's always made me do it for every use case.
Oh well, he didn't in Java for us. He only wanted just to see that you could do it, and so I guess I'll need to talk to him about that because we didn't have to do it for every single use case.
He made me in Java do it for every single use case.
Oh, it's funny because for us he was just like, no, why would I make you do it for every single use case? I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I can't show him any of this video.
Maybe later on, sequence the state diagram. Yeah, see, I don't, because he's always made it like you start up and the preconditions for the one use case is the post condition on your first use case document is the precondition on your next use case document. So it's like, and so each use case bubble you do a document for it. So it's like,
Oh.
so like startup, the precondition is like the app icon is displaying, and then you do that. The triggers, you click the app icon, and then it moves on, and this is what happens. And then the post condition, it's like it displays this, and then the precondition on the next one's whenever it ends on displaying is the that's the preconditions, the post condition on this document. That's my understanding.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it works. I think he only requires one though, because otherwise that would be so much. I think that would be way too much for this class, because with just 3 things, you would have to have a use case document, a whole state diagram for that use case, and a whole sequence diagram for that use case. But I guess he made you guys do it. We didn't have to do that. And
I think he may just
not
make
do
you
that.
do one to get to disagree too. So I don't know.
I got to do it for all 3. So let's fight for that. So yeah, like what Preston was saying, this is what's displaying before where we trigger our thing. So here I have my system displays grocery list, and I have my items, and then I have my add item button. And so the trigger is user will select the add item, and in the use case document, you're talking to people who are not technical, so don't say anything technical at all. It's funny. Pretty much what he wants is just like really simple. That's all he's looking for.
Use extends. I did that.
And then in my main success scenario, I just show that, okay, my system is displaying item name within an input box and an item price within an input box, and it displays a submit. And then the user will enter an item price and enter a name and a price, and then the user will select submit. And then once it's submit, it shows what the next thing is going to go back to, which in this case, I'm just going back to my main screen. And that is probably, I don't know. For me, I've always been going back to the other screen when I've done these, but so that's just the same thing as my preconditions. And then you have business rules in here. And so I'm saying that my item name field is required, my price is required. And then I put like how many characters and things that those should have. So it's like we need to meet those requirements when we start to do it. And then I authored it and dated it. And then for notes down here, it's just any kind of maybe specialized notes that you would simplify your use case a lot or something. But now going back to Visual Paradigm. So that was for this right here. And we're going to be stepping through the add item one. So now we're going to come into our activity diagram, and that's what the state one is called. In Visual Paradigm, by the way, is the activity diagram instead of a state diagram. And yeah, I need to talk with him about some of these things, but here you are saying, like, this is like your trigger, like I'm waiting for them to click the add item button. And then this is saying, okay, add item was selected. Okay, now I'm waiting for them to submit the form. And then, okay, item was submitted. Okay, now I'm going to wait for the item to be inserted to the database. And it's weird because it's not, this will be like in a do try catch, so it's not really a conditional, but maybe I still need the brackets around these. But I have, if the item is not inserted, then I show to the user displaying item not added, check values for name, and try again. And then display time exceeded. And then, but if it inserted, then item was inserted, and I just displaying added item, and then the display time exceeds, and then it goes back to the very first trigger of what it was before. But pretty much these blocks are the ing blocks, the things you're waiting on or doing, and this is once that thing has completed. Yeah. ing and ed.
It's good to know.
And then, by the way, when you're in your,
time in the Java class to figure out.
and then sequence diagram is actually the one I feel like I understand the best because it's coding. But I don't have the GCD stuff added in here yet. So this is if you're doing it on the main thread. But so add item, the user, not directly, but they invoke this add item sender function. And I guess, is there any questions you guys have in these blocks without me having to go through these things? So like Johnny was saying, I'm initializing this class. Anything that exists before you make it starts up here. So like all of these things have always been there, but I built this one in my code. So I created it in my code, and so that's the thing I'm going to be using is my manage context. But like I call NS entity description later on, but I don't build it. It's just already always there.
Because you
If
build
that makes
it,
any
you build it at
sense.
the beginning with the app.
Yeah, so the app itself built that, so I can just use that, and I don't ever instantiate that. The app does. And so that's what happens for my grocery item down here as well. And when you're returning these things, it's nice to, give a name of what it is. And even if it's, you're passing it back into a function, like this is what I am doing in here, it will be just going straight into a function before it goes into another variable. Just name it something generic like an item name. And then when I set item name, I use an item name. So I realize that I'm getting a string and it's going straight in through there. Something else. Because sometimes when I was doing this, I was like, oh wait, but I'm not passing this in a variable. What do I name it? And I was stressing about little things like that, but it's like, it doesn't matter what you name it. Just make sure you name it something so you can reference what it went to somewhere else.
What are your dotted lines versus solid lines?
So solid lines is like I'm calling something, and these dotted lines are like I'm returning something.
What about the one up above number 11?
So 1.1, so the dotted line also, if it's going straight to a class like this, just means I'm initializing that class there. And then I think that is it. And here's my do try block here, where I try to save the values. And then if it saves, I added the item. And if it didn't.
What about these little blocks on the lines like the far right?
So these blocks is what's showing kind of who has control of it, right? Then the process or how long it's running. Can you think of a better word?
Yeah, it's just kind of like, it's just
Where it's at in the.
You have to think sequence diagrams aren't so much like he said, they're not really left and right, so you can put those things anywhere. Sequence diagrams are more to show the flow, so they go from top to bottom. So it's like this is running and this is active at this time. This is called an activity box, I think. So it's active at this time, and then when it returns, it's no longer active.
Yeah, so now it's not, this thing isn't still processing anything. Now its process is done, comes in here. We have these little blocks, but this view controller, it's in it the whole time because it's calling these other things.
Because it goes back to the view controller and it's calling it, so it's still active.
Yeah, so this one's active the whole time.
Okay.
It's even doing this other stuff.
So that's why you have like your person over there all active too.
Yeah. And another thing that's kind of important is that these return and call arrows, sometimes when you're doing it on these simple ones we're doing at first, maybe you won't stumble into it, but later on, returns don't always go back this way. Returns can go to the right too, because sometimes you're just forced to build your classes out that way. And so you can still return it to that. So
it's like, as he said, it doesn't.
The arrows don't matter. Yeah, just wherever it's calling and wherever it's returning. That's all you want to worry about. It doesn't matter if it's going right or left.
A lot of people like to do it like this. I think they try to organize it so it looks like it's going back, call
Yeah.
it return, but it doesn't matter. So
Yeah, and sometimes you just can't get it to do that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I have on the diagrams, and I wanted to talk to him about this today, but I knew if I talked to him about this today, we'd probably talk about it for a long time. So I decided not to. I'm going to talk to him on Tuesday. But
I'm gonna have to sit in on a couple of those to see how